Hello everybody, so today I'm retelling you the 10 books that I read in the month of June. This was a really good reading month. First of all, for the amount of books I read and my enjoyment of the books that I read. So I'm really excited just to get into it and show you guys the books that I read in June. So we started off the month with definitely the weirdest book of the month, and that was Bunny by Mona Awood. This one was so weird that I couldn't even rate it because I was just confused the whole way through, and I was sort of waiting for like something to happen for it to all make sense, but that never happened. Like there was never a plot twist or something where I was like, oh, that makes sense now. No, it was just weird. It's like a very satire book. So it's about a group of girls who attend university, and this group of girls all call each other Bunny. Like that's their nicknames for each other, but they all are Bunny. And Samantha Mackey is sort of like an outsider in this group. She's in class with them, but she's not really friends with them. However, one day she gets an invitation to hang out with them, and she sort of gets looped into this bunny situation. And yeah, it's a sharp satire with fairy tale horror, which I definitely agree with, because so much in this I was like, is this a dream? What is happening? It was very odd, but it was a fun read. So if you just want something you're just gonna question everything, then read this book. This next book is definitely one of my favourite books from the month, and that is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors. I rated this book a 4 stars. This book is about 2 sisters, one called Joanna, one called Esther. I won't talk too much about it because I did do a reading vlog on this book, so feel free to go check that out. So Joanna still lives at her childhood home, and Esther is constantly moving around because she was told by her father that every single year she has to move location if she wants to keep her family safe. She never really knew why, but she did it anyway because of course she wanted to keep her family safe. The family have a little library of books. Not normal books, they are magical books. They are sort of ancient books containing spells, and they have to keep these books sort of safe, and they have to do a spell every single day to make sure these books are safe. Sort of start off with multiple different POVs, and then they all come together and you understand why they're, because you obviously understand why the 2 sisters are both involved, but there is another character who's involved, and you're sort of like, how is he gonna come together with these girls? But they do come together, and yeah, it all makes sense in the end. But I really enjoyed this. I definitely sort of felt like I was in the world and thought about it afterwards. Next up was my only non-fiction book of the month, and that was Untamed by Glennon Doyle. My best friend, my best friend Millie recommended this book to me. I know she absolutely loves it because she's listened to it on audiobook and she's bought the actual book. It's sort of just like a memoir of her life, but also you do get something from these books. I feel like some sort of memoirs, autobiographies type things, you just sort of learn about the author and about their lives, but this book you sort of learn something from it as well. But I did underline quite a bit, I tabbed a little bit as well, and yeah, it was just a nice book it's nice to break it up as well. Sometimes I think when you're reading so many fictional books, I think it's great just to break it up with a non-fiction book. Now this next book, I read Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth, and this book, this is just such a sort of tender but important book. I think I connected with this book so much because I found myself relating to and connecting with one of our main characters. When you find a character you connect with, the book just feels so much more raw and important, I think, as well surrounding the topics of this book. As you can see, I tabbed it quite a bit as well. This book is following Lucy, who lives in an Irish village during the 1990s, and she's always felt sort of out of place in the world. She has a best friend called Martin, who everyone expects her to get into a relationship with. They've been best friends for years and years and years, and it's just one of those things where people just like, it's just fact, they're gonna get together at some point. And Martin does feel that way about Lucy, but Lucy doesn't feel that way about Martin. She has feelings for someone she's not supposed to at this time. It's sort of this book is sort of a battle between what is expected of her and what she wants and what is true to her. So it's sort of whether to just follow the expectations of everybody else, make everybody else happy, but yourself be unhappy, or to have the threat of the people you love turning against you but being happy and true to yourself. It's a very tender book, and I think I would definitely recommend this book. I really loved it. The next book was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Again, I've got a reading vlog that's going to be coming out of these books, so I won't speak too much about them. But this is my first ever Frida McFadden book, and I gave it a 4 stars. I am beginning to understand the hype of Frida McFadden books. It was a fast-paced thriller. There was sort of some turns in it, things you didn't expect. And what I love is that it's sort of put into 2 parts. So you get our main character Millie, her POV for most of the book, but the last sort of half or quarter is, I won't spoil it and say which character's point of view it's from, but you get it from a different character's point of view, and it sort of goes back to the beginning and explains what actually happened. So you sort of get like Millie's point of view and the other character's point of view, so they're 2 very different point of view. I don't know how many times I just said point of view. But yeah, I would definitely be reading some more Frida McFadden books. I already bought some more. This has definitely intrigued me. Like I said, 4 stars and reading vlog coming out. Next up we have Blue Sisters by Coco Malors. I actually got this book at the train station in London because I was coming home from a hotel stay and I just finished The Housemaid and I didn't have another book to read, and I had like a 3-hour journey ahead of me. So I picked up Blue Sisters from W.H. Smith's and I just started reading it on the train. I actually read this in a day. I read it on the train, and then when I got home I finished it. So yeah, definitely, it's not a fast-paced book or anything, but I think because I had so much time and I was just really invested in the characters in this book, I gave this book a 4.25 stars, and I really would love to read some more of Coco Malors' work. So this book is based off of the Blue Sisters, and they had a family tragedy a year ago when this book starts. So one of their sisters passed away, and this book starts a year after she passes away. All of the sisters have gone in very different directions of their lives. They're living in different parts of the country, different countries. They've sort of broken apart, and when their sister passed away, it sort of obviously broke a piece of them, but it also broke kind of their relationship a little bit as well. This book follows each of the sisters and how they all navigate their own grief, their own addictions, their own lives, and they eventually all come together. I don't really know how to describe this book, but it's definitely worth the read and I would definitely recommend it. So yeah. I then went on to read the next book in the Housemaid series, which is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. This one I gave a 3.5 stars to. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I enjoyed the first book, but it was still a good book. I think I was just sort of more invested in the first book. Again, this follows the same main character, so this still follows Millie, but she's now working for a different family. And sort of things from the first book are carried on into this book, but it's still a new story, a new situation, if that makes sense. Like, it's not 2 completely separate books, but she's now on a new adventure, if that makes sense. But like I said, again, reading vlog is coming out on this book series. Then I couldn't tell you why, I just really fancied reading a sad book, so I picked up Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and I actually picked this book from a charity shop. I think it was like £1 or something from a charity shop, so I didn't really know what it was about, but it just caught my eye. So this book basically starts with the sentence, Lydia is dead. So you know from the very first sentence that this character is dead, that she's passed away. But the book itself follows a Chinese American family living in the 1970s in Ohio, and Lydia was the favourite child of her parents. She's got an older brother and a younger sister, and she lived with her mum and her dad and her 2 siblings. So it sort of follows each of those characters, so the mum, the dad, the brother and the sister, but it goes back in time to when Lydia was still alive, and it goes back to afterwards, and then with the parents it goes to sort of before they even met each other, before they had the children, afterwards, and how each of them again are navigating their grief and why certain things are the way they are. It's also got lots of really important writing on sort of race and culture in this time as well. I then went on holiday with my family to Derbyshire, so I of course had to read some summer books. So the first one I read was The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenna Han. I picked this one because I really want to watch the series on Amazon, but I am one of those people that I can't watch it unless I've read it. So I wanted to read the book first. I love the spine, the pages in this, it's really cool. And also I've got the floppy version, which is great. So most people probably know what this is about because a lot of people have watched the series. But this is following Byee, who for her life is revolved around her summers, because each summer she goes to Cousins Beach with her mum, her brother and their family friends who they've known since they were kids, since they came out of the womb. Because Belly's mum and Conrad and Jeremiah's mum, they've been best friends since I think like their college days, so they've known each other for a long time. And this book is following Byee and sort of her relationship with Conrad and Jeremiah growing up, because it's sort of, this book especially flickers between when Belly's different ages, because obviously they've been going to this beach house every single year since they were kids, so it sort of flitters back to now, and then when she was 7, for example, when she was 12. This was just a really fun summer beachy read, and yeah, I actually gave this a 5 stars because I had no complaints about this book. Obviously it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was just a really fun book, and I actually read this in a day. I read most of this in the car on the way to Derbyshire. It was just a really easy book to read, and yeah, I really liked it. Then my final book of June is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han, which is the next book to the Summer I Turned Pretty series. Now I will admit this one I didn't enjoy quite as much. I didn't actually rate it, but I think if I had to rate it I'd probably give it like a 3 stars or 3.5 stars. Don't get me wrong, I did still read it in less than 2 days, but it just didn't have quite the impact that this one did. I think it's because this one sort of felt a little bit more wholesome, whereas this one, I don't know, everything changes, like the relationship dynamics changes, there's a lot more drama, which obviously is bound to happen because she's a bit older now. I think she was about like 16 or something in this book, so she's a bit older now, so obviously everything's bound to change. But yeah, I still enjoyed the book, and obviously I got through it in less than 2 days, so it was still a page turner, but I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first one. This one's definitely my favourite. I have spoken for far too long, so I'm glad we can wrap up this video. But that is all the books that I read in the month of June. Let me know what books you read this month, or what your favourite one was, or which ones you'd recommend me to read. But that is all for today, and I'll see you all soon for the video. Bye!